Welcome to my Live It Choice live stream. I'm excited to talk to you about this conversation called Monday Blues, right? So, what happens to us? Have you ever noticed that you don't look as forward to Monday as you do Saturday morning? And that brings about, as I mentioned in the description, there's a lot of health issues that can span from the dreadery of going back to Monday, and so Monday's getting a bad rap. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's like Monday's getting a bad rap because really Monday has nothing to do with what's going on. It's just that the things that you don't want to face, the things that you are not comfortable with, the things you hate about your job, or whatever the category fits in, it's there on Monday. If you've got, I remember that I would wake up in the mornings years ago and it was like the whole world was on me. It was like everything was sitting on my chest. Everything had to be addressed. It was like I wake up and then the world's coming at me. And that's when we're really into a real issue about what we've got to face on Monday mornings. And so look and see in your life, is it that you don't like the job you have? Or is it that you just don't like it, like where you're working or the people you're working with? Or maybe it's about the fear that you're not delivering in the job the way you need to, the way you know you are capable of, but it's not happening. Sometimes it's anxiety that comes up just because there is so much to do. Our lives are very busy, right? And it's just there's if you just had the job and you go to work and you come home and then you have life and your family, and those were all segmented, like wouldn't that be the perfect world? Wouldn't that be the perfect environment? But that's not what it is. And the age old thing about leave your personal life at home and be your business. There's no two of you. There is you. And it's impossible to separate all of it all the time. And so, um, facing these uncomfortable situations, sometimes I find that people actually begin on Sunday to dread Monday. And they are the biggest heart attack days. And I'm not saying you're headed for a heart attack, but I am saying that you're headed into a stress you don't have to be in. So, what do we do about it, right? So, if every day could be, thank God it's Friday, because we think on Friday that we're going to be able to just shut it off for 2 days and then we have to go back to it on Monday morning. So let's look at what's possible. You know, the reason and the problem that you're actually dealing with is that you don't have the answer or you don't have a fix for the problems you're facing. You don't know how to change the situation. And everything you try, and it doesn't seem to resolve it, right? So, um, the opportunity now in this live stream is to listen to some possibilities that I'm going to provide you. I'm going to show you what really is going on with your Monday blues and what's happening to you. I'm going to give you some steps that are going to help you move through it, some actual real steps that my clients take, and then you will be able to walk yourself from the anxiety and maybe even prevent the anxiety from occurring, because it starts. You will actually know when that anxiety is building up, whether it's Sunday or Monday morning matters not, right? And then I'm going to show you how you can begin to reframe it, give you an example of one of my clients that happened most recently and how we just resolved it. And so I'm going to walk you exactly through those same steps, and you'll be pretty blown away at what occurred for her. So let's look at this. Let's look at why it's happening. It's happening. The anxiety is coming on step by step, piece by piece. And like I said, it might start dwelling up on on Sunday to get you into Monday, and you're already full blown into the stress or the worry or the anxiety or the fear, and then things are just not work. You just don't know what direction to go in other than just react, react, react. And so we want to stop that reaction and go into putting you in proaction, and you are being able to determine how you experience the day. Because the problem that you're having is more in that you are having a difficulty um, dealing with the response you're having, and that all of your energy and your focus is driven to try to stop you from feeling what you're feeling, when it looks like it's the actual issue that it's the problem, and the issue is never the problem is how you're experiencing that issue. So let's talk some more about it. Step one. So, as soon as you begin to notice the frantic feelings, you guys, we've learned, people have learned how to be so in your head that we think we are shutting off the emotion and the feelings. And the truth of the matter is you don't shut it off. You just may think it's shut off. So what we do is we try to think our way through it in an attempt, and slowly but surely we have begun to shut down our awareness of the feelings, the sensations that we're having. And that's two different things. A feeling, you will generally, when I say, well, what do you feel? Generally, people will say to me, well, I feel angry, or I feel fearful, or I feel afraid. That's not the feeling. That's an emotional state of being. The feeling is the actual sensation so that you feel in your body. Is your chest getting tight? Do you feel like you're like got cotton in your throat and can't speak? Are your hands quivering? Your stomach, you have those butterflies. Get grounded on what are the sensations, because the sensations are exactly what's ramping up and creating this frantic feeling that you're having. And so I want to point your awareness to the physical and not to the explanation of some emotional um, thought process that you're in, or emotional state. I want you to get to the actual physical feelings, right? So as soon as you begin to notice, you'll feel it. Maybe you start finding yourself getting tight across the muscles of your chest, or start finding yourself like drawing in and getting really tense, and become aware. Step number one. Step number two, look at the challenge, look at the issue, the problem, right? Look at what it is that you're facing, because what the sensations and the emotional feeling when this franticness and stress starts coming on is really an attempt to kind of shut down and focus on how you're feeling as a distraction, rather than as an opportunity to breathe your way through it and see the issue as a separate item. So look at it as a separate item and listen to your mind chatter. That's step number three. So one is get aware of the sensations in your body as they start to build, and stop that from growing. Take a breath. Step number two is to look at the challenge, the issue, the problem. What really is the problem? Right? And look at it as something separate from you, not something inside of you. Listen to the mind chatter. Notice the ramping up of the emotional fear coming from the words of the chatter. And then your next step, right, is to allow that to just dissipate. Please do not try to correct it. Don't argue with the chatter. The chatter is fleeting to begin with. So allow it to go, and then create for yourself consciously a new thought process, right? You are in a high state of resistance when the physical and the thoughts come together, and for an attempt to avoid the problem, when I want you to build an awareness. This is the key, because at your high state of resistance of trying to make the circumstance go away, then you are in trouble at that point, and the anxiety will get you instead of you actually pulling the anxiety down and actually be able to move all of this emotional stuff out of the way where you can actually see the problem, and you'll be really blown away at what can occur. And there's another step. So here's listen. I'm going to share with you a story that's very recent of one of my clients. And so she's building a new business, and we're just going to call her Sarah for this conversation. So Sarah's building a new business and she's doing really well. She's been at it now for several months, and things are really happening for her. Business is coming in. She's beginning to get the kind of business that's on retainer, which, stabilizes revenue and income. And she called me and she said, I am terrified. I said, what's the problem? What's happening? She said, what's going on is that I have several thousands of dollars of commitment that I've made. And I didn't realize that all of this is going to come in too immediately, come in and be due all at the same time. And I don't have the cash revenue today. Big difference between building business and cash flow, but that's another conversation. Right now, she's in the upset. She's in the frantic, She's in the frantic and the panic that can come when she's faced with a problem that she didn't expect. It came out of what seeming to be nowhere. And so one was the balance on a vacation that's 3/4 paid for, and the other is some camp study and work for her kids, opportunity for her children. So she's in this. I don't know how to handle it. It's all due today. And I said, stop. And I walked her through these steps. And we talked about the experience of what she was feeling and where she was feeling it. She said, I feel it here in my throat. I said, okay, great. So just allow that feeling to be there, because everything else is resistance. Allow it to be there. Look at it, experience it, allow it to be there. Don't feed it, allow. And as soon as you can take a good breath, then let me know, and we're going to talk about the next thing we're going to do. So she calmed herself down by allowing that feeling. And she says, okay, it's kind of gone away. I said, great, it's gone away. Now let's look at what we can do in this situation right now. And this is what's important, you guys. It's an opportunity to create the outcome she desires instead of fearful of the outcome that she can't change. All right. That circumstance is there. The invoices are there. The cash flow is not in the bank to pay it. So what are we going to do? Right. And so I said, so what's the end result? Tell me what you want as an end result. And she said, well, we're going to go on the vacation. I said, that's great. See the vacation. Take a moment and just see. You're here right now in this. I want you to over here. I want you to create this experience that you're after. It's like, tell me about that vacation. And she says, oh gosh, this is my favorite place in the world to go. And it's for my husband and I, and it's just going to be incredible. And I said, well, tell me about it. And so she engaged herself in the result. Okay. So she created the experience of the result. We're on vacation. Like, see that it's already there. It's already there. And then secondly, what's the next part? She says, well, I see my children, in the classes they want to take. I said, great. See them. What are they doing? Oh, they're laughing. Great. This may seem woo-woo to you, but I'm going to tell you this is the response. Because she was in fear here. We created her in the circumstance that she's after. She wants this. This is her desired result. Be in that result. Envision you're there now, because that's what you have to do when this looks difficult. Everything in the middle, we jump in. We want to be like, I'm going to fix this. I'm the one that's got to stop this. I have to do it right now. And in truth, you have to stop the anxiety and get real that this is going to be your outcome. And then do what's next. Allow yourself to just take a deep breath and do what's next. And so she did. And she went to work on doing other things. And guess what? The next morning, she had two very powerful new business opportunities. And on the second day after that, 3 days later, she received a check for $5,000. She was expecting later, maybe months, to get 3,000. It came months earlier and it was $2,000 more. Her whole commitment was handled 48 hours after her anxiety. Say what you want to about it, but here's what's true. When you are in resistance, when you are resisting the circumstances, when you're building the anxiety of what Monday morning looks like because the cash flow is not there, or you're going to a job that you really don't enjoy, or you hate leaving your family, create the results you want. And that is a languaging. That is learning how to actually live in that result today. And that's what we teach you in the Live It Choice work, is how to do this and how to be there. And look, I want to give you some gifts today. I want you to have an opportunity to see some of the materials that will aid you in being able to take these actions for yourself now, not later. So there's two things we're going to do. One, if you're listening to me right now in Facebook, I want you to just put a message on the bottom here. Just type the word mindset into the chat, and that will get you to some of my documents. One's the 12 rules, one is 10 words to eliminate, so that this creation process that you're in is there. And if you are on viewing us through one of the other platforms, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever we are, because we're in all those places, then just go to gifts.liveatchoice.com and get these items and keep this video access for yourself so that you can hear what I'm telling you to do, and then take those ebooks that I'm giving you and learn how to implement. If you choose, you want to do more with us at Live It Choice, then join us on creating mindsets for success. And you can access that through the same area where the gifts are. We're here to serve you. We're here to have your Monday mornings be as exciting as your Friday and your Saturday. You guys, we don't have to live in the Monday blues. We don't have to be down on Monday morning. Imagine being excited even when the tough things are happening, so that you can move through them and live the kind of results you're after. Mindset in the chat, if you in fact are watching us here on Facebook, and gifts.liveatchoice.com. Grab some of my stuff and see what you can put into practice. We'd love to see you down the road. Until then, see you next Thursday in the live stream here. Thank you so much for being here today. Bye now.